Sorry for that little sidekick. No. Anyway, I'm here to introduce Your Yellow Brick Road by Reverend JoAnn Wormuth. Come on up.
Good morning, everyone. Everyone here on Zoom and out there in Facebook land. The title of the homily is actually Following Your Yellow Brick Road. May I?
Yeah.
Give that to you. If I told you that just like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, you follow your own yellow brick road, would you believe me? If I suggested that you're looking for your own Wizard of Oz or have your own Toto, would you be a believer? Children's stories and fairy tales can be wonderful sources for insights into the power and courage contained in your archetypes. The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy discovers aspects of herself she didn't know she had. Courage, intelligence, heart. The story presents challenges we all face on our yellow brick road. To understand Dorothy's story, we need to have a basic understanding of archetypes. Archetypes are your energy guides that lead you to your highest potential. Each of us has 4 constant archetypes: child, victim, prostitute, and saboteur. And you did hear that right. The child is the first state of consciousness. Since we're born with it, the child is one of the powerful patterns in our psyche. Our archetypes are both intimate and impersonal. When we look at them through our heart, they are personal enough to be our companions. When we look at them through our mind, they are impersonal and provide energetic patterns for our spiritual evolution. The Land of Oz is a symbolic representation of the journey of self-discovery and transformation. It is where Dorothy and her companions will face not only their inner desires, but also their fears. Ultimately, they come to realize the power to achieve their goals lies within themselves. Oz represents a shift in perspective where Dorothy's internal struggles are externalized. The journey down the yellow brick road is a metaphor for spiritual growth. The Theosophical Society of America states, Dorothy's journey away from Kansas and back represents a spiritual quest. It goes on to say it is a move towards self-actualization, atonement, wholeness or holiness. It is becoming again one, much like we once were. They go further to suggest that Dorothy is a prototypical hero, much like Judah, Jesus, Buddha, Harry Potter, and even Luke Skywalker. Let's look at the similarities between Dorothy and Jesus. Both Dorothy and Jesus had questions about their parentage. They started life as ordinary people. They had to flee in early stages of their life. They traveled a path with a clear beginning. For Dorothy, the yellow brick road, and an unavoidable end. Both battled different forms of evil. They had companions who were scattered in turbulent times. They traveled through wilderness, forest, and desert, found an inner power to assist in transcending their experience. Dorothy and Jesus were not afraid to take a stand on moral issues. Eventually, they would go home, leaving sad companions behind. We know Dorothy is an orphan. As we were told early in the story, she has come to live with Auntie M in Kansas. The orphan child feels from birth as if they have not been part of their family. In other words, that tribal spirit. The absence of family influences leads the orphan child to develop their own inner reality based on personal experience and judgment. Other children's stories draw on the same orphan child theme. Little Orphan Annie, Snow White, even Bambi. In each of these, the lead character's consciousness is their own to develop right from the start. As the story opens, the cyclone is coming. The cyclone is a classic precursor to transformation. Cyclone represents the unpleasant events in our lives that move us to higher places. Think of the chaos you might have experienced in your lifetime and the resulting transformation. We've all been there. Sometimes those transformations are greater and take longer than others. Growth requires old spiritual structures to give way to new ones. If Dorothy had not been transported to Oz, she would not have achieved the insight, growth, understanding, and realization of her power that she did. Think of cyclones as internal tension that brings us to a higher plane. So as the storm is approaching, Dorothy runs to the storm cellar. She is literally trying to run from the chaos before it hits. That is not the fortune of the orphan child. The tribe won't let her in to the safety of the cellar. Not being part of the tribe is in so many ways the kinds of things that we study when we study the root chakra. You know, it's the basis of the grounding of future mental and spiritual growth of tradition. Dorothy returns to the house with her beloved dog, Toto. The house represents the whole of the self, with a subconscious in the basement and the superego in the attic. As the house is lifted off the ground and starts to spin, symbolically, Dorothy is reconstituted and begins the hero's journey. She is awakened to her own spiritual grace, the grace that will guide her through the ordeal of growth. Do you remember Dorothy being hit on the head at the beginning of the journey from Kansas to Oz with the window? You remember the window hit her? The window is an opening between one dimension and the next. Again, the Theosophical Society of America tells us that we too have a window, the place where the collective unconscious and the personal unconscious meet. It takes a journey to find this place. Dorothy pulls herself up and fearfully looks out the window at all the wreckage floating past. Do you remember that? There was the roosting chicken, a fence, a buggy, a crowing rooster. And then, you know, there was also the Wicked Witch on her bicycle with Toto in the basket. Yeah, we'll go back to that. The window represents a dream state, prophecy, and archetypal images. The house crashes down in Oz. And speaking to Toto, Dorothy says, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore. Classic line. So who is Toto the dog? Toto is Dorothy's guardian on this journey. Toto in Latin means everything. Toto is Dorothy's intuition. He's her inner, intuitive, instinctual part of herself. In shamanic terms, he would be called her power animal. Toto is her constant reminder that everything she needs is always with her. In the story, Toto is never wrong. When Dorothy is having conversations with Toto, she is connecting with her inner intuitive self. We can ignore our intuitive voice, but we can't contain it. Now take back to what I was saying in the just previously about the Wicked Witch on her bicycle has Toto in the basket. So the Wicked Witch was trying to kind of steal Dorothy's intuition at that point and take it with her. The Wizard of Oz presents many possible themes for consideration. Dorothy's first lesson, the Munchkins, Glinda, the Shadow Witch, the Wizard of Oz, the topics seemingly endless. The author intentionally uses allegory and symbolism to convey concepts that are central to spiritual teaching, like those found in Theosophy and Buddhism. It has been suggested that the yellow brick road represents the golden path in Buddhism. This is a path along which the soul travels to a state of spiritual realization. Writers suggest that Dorothy's experiences in Oz represent the soul's journey toward enlightenment. In his own writing, Baum suggested he believes the story may have been divinely inspired, and I quote from the author. It was pure inspiration. It came to me right out of the blue. I think that sometimes the great author had a message to get across, and he used the instrument at hand. Do you remember the last scene when Toto takes off to chase a cat and Dorothy takes off after him? In so doing, Dorothy misses her balloon ride back to Kansas. This action leads Dorothy to her ultimate transformation. She discovers her own inner powers. Toto did Dorothy a service by forcing her out of the balloon. And remember, Toto has never been wrong. This is a call for her and us to listen to our intuition, our gut feelings, those bits of insight that seem to come to us out of nowhere. At the conclusion of the movie, Dorothy tells us as she clicks her heels together 3 times, there's no place like home. Consider that perhaps the home you carry around with you, that place in your heart, is the best you can get. Thank you. You're welcome to join us on our website, isdoneonta.org. And until the next time, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.